We are live. This is the market update of the Doom Loop. Who's Doom Loop? Well, not the Bitcoin Doom Loop, silly. The Uncle Sugar Hyperscaler Doom Loop. We will talk about why this is absolute jet fuel for Bitcoin. We will absolutely make fun of anybody who thought the Fed was going to hike rates and why. And the coordinated effort for Scott Bessent to step in, for the Fed to step in, and for the administration to step in with a crypto summit, which conveniently occurs right as Uncle Scott Bessent unleashes symbolic QE. We will review that. So if you missed it, you don't know what to do, don't worry. We've already got reports in Patreon. Alpha Intelligence is on fire. Those links are down below. We'll give you QR codes throughout the stream. But first, if you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. We were all over this. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live and posting short videos. And for God's sakes, hit the like button. Do it. Okay. Now we're going to start with, my favorite. The Fed's got to hike rates to impress the bond market. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Look at this. Just look at this. Breaking. Walmart stock falls 8% after posting a rare quarterly sales miss, with U.S. growth falling to a 6-year low. Are consumers running out of money? Running? Bro, it's been over. It's been mostly over for 2 years, and it was completely over with $4 gasoline. Kaput, done. Because if you couple this with no labor market growth, which, speaks for itself on one hand, implies lame raises on the other hand for anyone outside what I would call the NVIDIA class, right? Where you have people printing both in the stock market and probably in salaries in certain areas of tech and even, real economy construction. Everybody else is getting the big pickle. The Fed is going to hike rates and do what? F housing, jam everyone's credit cards higher. What? That's going to stop whatever's going on here. They have a dual mandate. Everyone forgets this. The Fed has a dual mandate. They have to fight inflation and at least support employment or prevent mass unemployment. I mean, you already know that there's an employment problem. And just in case you didn't, you have lizards backtracking or at least trying to say something constructive about the labor market that they are actively trying to ruin. Lizard says the future will have an abundance of jobs and predicts a wave of new career like world builders and personal biologists. World builders, bro, you just laid off all of Reality Labs. What are you talking about? Don't you see? Now, what you don't see, and this kind of hit me yesterday, right? So Uncle Sugar hits 40 trillion in debt. Huge headline, thumbnail worthy. But what was really going on yesterday? Like, why did Uncle Scotty pull out the QE? Why did the Fed say knock it off on the stock market? Who made the phone call to Scott Bessent? Was it BlackRock? Maybe. Or was it the hyperscalers themselves? Was it the lizards who called up and said, look, bro, we can't raise money. I know we went too far, but we got to do this, and the whole economy depends on it. So we're all in bed together. Get someone on the tape and fix this in front of NVIDIA earnings. This way, whatever accounting hootenanny, circular revenue, all of these terms, off balance sheet financing, which we've been going off on ad nauseum as a reason to own Bitcoin or to reallocate to Bitcoin. Now that that's been handled by Uncle Scotty, because as you can see, bonds didn't hold a bid. Gold stopped rallying. Bro, it's Bitcoin only. It's crypto only. And they even brought XRP back from the dead, which, you know, that chart was broken. And we were getting to the point where, you know, we were like, this may not be for the future. And they brought that back with the US Crypto Summit, conveniently positioned around Uncle Scotty pressing the print button. So hyperscalers need Uncle Sugar's support. Uncle Sugar has to do something about the doom loop. They had to get something on the tape to distract the United States, and there is nothing better to distract the United States like a crypto move, right? Because here's a Chinese cartoon, okay? Here's Uncle Sugar on the phone trying to get more money, right? Uncle Sugar's at the cash register trying to get his credit restored. Now the Chinese have taken to this meme war, right? Making fun of us with our debt. Excellent. Excellent. Carry on. Carry on. At least I'm not the only person who has to do it, right? I mean, this is unbelievable. The case for Bitcoin is staggering. And the Chinese can make all the jokes that they want, but gold has gone up, stocks have gone up, and Bitcoin obviously has underperformed for the last 9 months. The reason being, you know, some good work on TA and cycle analysis, but really the thing is about liquidity and everyone's perception of the Fed and the position everyone's taken on interest rates. I mean, Bessent putting in another $15 billion into the market, it is not going to move everything. It's not going to move anything, in fact. However, it's going to be symbolic, like I said yesterday, in that don't play around with us. Don't be short this hyperscaler debt. The Fed tells everybody with money to knock it off, right? Because they're already getting phone calls from the hyperscalers. That's why they made that claim. It's like, okay, well, we have a problem in the tech bond market. We don't need a problem in the tech stock market. So knock it off. Knock it off. And of course, you wake up and Bitcoin's 5% higher. No, Bitcoin's up 5% higher. Of course it is, right? Because people don't get this. We got guys on the stream yesterday going, yeah, your exit liquidity for 40K. Okay, bro. Okay. Excellent. No, I mean, I'm not being a jerk. I mean, if that's his market view, that's his market view. We respect people and we respect his honesty. All right. And he's not the only one. Hey, no one believes this. No one believes it. For example, this is a classic. So yesterday we do the stream. We move heaven and earth to get on the air early. I don't know. The live stream has like 700 views. It's moving at like 53 views per hour. I'm like, nobody believes this. Nobody. I wake up, I got 1,100 views with a 400 view per hour statistic because everybody went looking for content when it went above 70. I can't believe nobody connected the dots, but that's fine. No one connected the dots between what Scott Bessent did and that first Bitcoin rally. And I'm not dissing. I'm saying YouTube didn't connect it, or the people who get news on YouTube did not figure it out because YouTube spent the last week talking about how crypto is dead. And we got into the weeds on hyperscaler debt and about the velocity of money, which is why ETH is moving. And now you're throwing in, which we'll cover, this whole American-made crypto thing is back. Most likely as a distraction for the November event. And who knows? Garlinghouse could have been on the phone going, save us. So you had a hyperscaler bailout, and I think you had an altcoin XRP bailout as well. Because that thing was sitting there at $1 and it just, the chart itself looked like there was absolutely no bid. So even though it wound up on our naughty list, I was like, I remember saying you got to be careful when the charts look totally broken. Like when no one will touch it, when everyone has unloaded. And of course, speaking of charts, we will be relentlessly going off on alpha intelligence. We have dollar signals, bond market signals, Zcash levels, Bitcoin levels that are like, this guy's going to be on the stream tomorrow. You're going to love this guy. This guy's like, dude, you gotta tell him, you gotta press him. I'm like, bro, it's going to press itself. Yes, we got to press him, bro. It's going to press itself. I mean, we could sit here all day and do live TA, and probably 1 out of 3 charts that we pull up is going to have an oh my God level on it or an oh my God signal. I mean, I did it this morning. We did PowerPoint, by the way. We did PowerPoint and a chart report with a brief summary for all Patreon tiers. I know we have tiers, but these kind of events, we got to get news out to everybody. The last TA report we did was August 8th. That's how dead the market was. Basically saying that if this thing got above 67K, it was on. And boy, oh boy, is it on. And I got new upside targets. Everybody in Patreon, all the Spartans who stayed in Patreon, all the Spartans who can come back. Time to come back because it's on now. Now you got to start figuring out the altcoin games. Toby's working on it right now. And it's just a question of like Hyperliquid. Like look at the orange man getting long Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid was on the top of our list because the whole theme is what coins will survive AI velocity, coins that pay you for holding it or for staking it, right? If you hold it, then it's going to have massive value when velocity picks up. Okay, orange man gets long Hyperliquid, comes out and says, let's bring Hyperliquid to the United States. I don't know if he's long it, but let's face it, folks. Let's face it. This is a distraction, and they're going to pump up the jam. It worked in 2024, and what's good is that now they have to do it. They can promise it. They can do what they want. They continue to do what they want. But now they're going to have to make good on some of this, which is SEC, CFTC, and the Clarity Act. Congress is watching this. They're on vacation, and the orange man's stealing their thunder. They could have passed this and looked like heroes. Now they got the orange man on the tape, pressing them, and they're on vacation watching Bitcoin gap higher. And this Bitcoin pain trade is unbelievable. Unbelievable, right? The Treasury and the Fed are going to be forced to look at it because goosing, the sort of the print job and the print optics to save the hyperscalers are going to force a move higher, most likely in gold and Bitcoin. But remember, gold and silver is about fear, or gold and silver is about asset allocation. Bitcoin is about liquidity, which of course everybody seemed to forget about, which is why we kept pounding the table on this hyperscaler debt thing. There was no way, and then I'm going to move on. There's no way you were going to have the type of borrowing that needs to occur without some gesture and openness on liquidity, and this idea of rate hikes, delusional. You were going to stick the hyperscaler donors. Remember the ball that they had for all the hyperscalers, like the day before the meme coin came out, or the day the meme coin came out. All these tech executives showed up in their tuxedos for the inaugural ball. Yeah, they were the ones who made the phone calls. Like, bro, we need to borrow money, and Wall Street's not having it. Done, right? The Fed, the administration, the Treasury, boom. You doubt the resolve of these people to advance their agenda, keep the wheels on, keep this $40 trillion headline at least making it compete with what's going on in Bitcoin. at least making it compete. I mean, I frankly wouldn't doubt that the first phone call that they made after they hung up with the hyperscalers was to call BlackRock, Galaxy Digital, and whoever and say, jam this thing higher. It is in their interest to jam this thing higher. This is part 2 of what they don't get. First QE light, they didn't get that. Now they need this. They need Bitcoin higher, period. They need a distraction. Yeah, I mean, they need 75 or 74. And then in order to get through that resistance, which we'll go over on the charts, they need 80. They need 80. They need this whole give up trade to unwind. So it's not just news, it's news flow. So they need positive news flow in Bitcoin so they can avoid the negative news flow in hyperscalers, $40 trillion debt, blah, 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 blah. Not to mention the geopolitical situation. It's just, they got to get news flow. So it's not a one-day thing. If it was up 25% one day, it's a one-day thing. But last night, I'm like, wait a minute. They need news flow. That means every day there has to be a headline. Like today is Orange Man says, CFTC, Hyperliquid coming to the United States. Orange Man says we're going to be the undisputed leader in crypto. U.S. is considering buying a sizable amount of Bitcoin. Orange Man calls for Congress to pass the Clarity Act. Chainlink on tokenization. Chainlink founder, at the White House, there's a very real and tangible outcome that's benefiting the adoption of U.S. issued assets and the U.S. dollars. Link everything from the Chainlink Twitter feed. You don't think we're going cross-chain everything? Like we've been talking about this on the YouTube member area. I don't know how long. You don't think the Chainlink founder speaks at the White House, and you don't think we're going cross-chain everything? This could help save XRP, right? I mean, Ethereum is going to save altcoins, period, end of story, because we covered that yesterday, and we covered it on Tom Lee. Is Tom Lee crazy? And we also covered it in a couple other ways using basic economics. But when you put the Chainlink founder up to speak, I mean, listen, look at this. When you have this is essentially sovereign intervention on altcoins. Why is the Chainlink founder speaking at the White House on tokenization? Well, of course, one reason for that is because BlackRock can't do it. Like their agenda is a little bit too transparent. They've got lizard scales themselves. So get the guy from Chainlink up. Get somebody up here and get it moving. Get it moving. That is the mandate. So I don't know. For anybody who thinks this is a one-day event, my suggestion is you recompute quickly. Because, I mean, this is going to be highly volatile. You're going to get dips because people are getting liquidated, right? This is like the opposite of the give-up trade on the downside, right? You're going to have people giving up on the short side. They're going to get blown out. And then when the forced buying stops, then there can be a correction. However, do not underestimate the overshoot on the upside, just like you couldn't overestimate the undershoot on the downside. What, 57K? Shut up. Are you kidding me? Shut up. Oh my God, they were hitting this thing at they were hitting this thing at 62 like 2 days ago. 3 days ago. God almighty. Morons. What are you doing? Look at this headline. They're calling it the doom loop, right? The doom loop means that they just have to indefinitely print. They have to just indefinitely print. There's no way out of this. This is total interest. There's just no way out, right? Treasury paid out $85 billion in bondholders in August. Gee, $85 billion. Does that number ring a bell? Oh, that's what Bernanke and Yellen did every single month for like, I don't know, 10 years, 8 years before somebody came in and said, hey, maybe this is stupid when everything at Costco 4X. Right? I mean, this is coming back in some form of another. Either they're going to like have to actually like buy back the long bonds or stop issuing long bonds to try to reduce the supply. You cannot have housing destruction. And I got news for you, folks. If all of this that they're not working, because bonds are not really buying it on day 2 of this. They're not really buying it. I mean, some people are buying the dip in bonds. We'll go through the chart, but the only way to express this trade is through Bitcoin. And that is a radical notion. This will get people off their duff. Because again, what do we do in the market update? What do we do on Patreon? What do we do on the YouTube member area? And what do we do with Alpha Intelligence? Get all this out 2 days before the herd. Because again, people are going to look at their screen this morning and be like, stocks are flat, bonds are down, gold's flat, Bitcoin's up 5%. Take the marker, draw you a picture. I don't think we're going to need to draw a picture at the end of today, because all of YouTube is going to figure this out by 8 p.m. tonight, which is why we're on at 8 a.m. Right? Because this could just get wild. I mean, these statistics are interesting, right? Just in $190 billion added to crypto market cap in the last 24 hours. Bro, the difference between like what stocks like NVIDIA or any of these hyperscalers, what they do, like overnight fluctuations, you know, those are 190 billion, bro. They floss with 190 billion. And I don't even know if that gets you a full mouth floss over there in the hyperscaler world. You know, if anything, you got to maybe start looking at Bitcoin miners who have also got AI capability potentially, because they'll be able to borrow money because they have Bitcoin. And then I got to pull this chart up. I mean, I haven't checked what's going on with Galaxy Digital. I mean, there was an article, right, where some guy, for anybody who doesn't know what Galaxy Digital is, Galaxy Digital is it's a crypto hedge fund, okay, that also got involved with data centers. So they took some of their Bitcoin mining and they went to data centers and did not participate in any part of the rally. None of it. So they had AI, but because it was crypto and because the CEO frequently sits around and talks macro, they were punished. They were punished. The stock didn't go anywhere. Now you have basically a double cup and handle. It's so insane. I can't even get it all on one screen for TikTok. So, you know, you have this giant cup, which is like, I don't know, the last 4 years, 5 years. Then you have a handle, and this handle also has a cup and a handle. This is going to be insane. When this thing breaks out, it's going to be literally insane. This is a classic representation of the fact that the market does not understand where real value is. Let me say that again. This market does not understand where real value is. I think these guys are like, you know, they are definitely a top 10 Bitcoin holder. They may be a top 5 Bitcoin holder. You know, they have power. They have an AI data center. And what is going to happen to crypto in this environment? What's going to happen? It's going to be crazy banana pants. You don't think they knew that what Bessent was going to say? You don't think they knew about BlackRock coming out? BlackRock told you. I said this yesterday. I'll say it again. I'll probably say it tomorrow. BlackRock came out and said you should have 2% of your portfolio in Bitcoin. Boom. Gone. Like, you know, you want to see price suppression. Like, I know everybody looks at Bitcoin and it's down, and everyone's just kind of like used to Bitcoin being down. People don't understand what's going on here, because if Bitcoin goes to 85 or if Bitcoin goes to 100 by the end of the year, this stock's going to be a lot higher. And of course, nobody was talking about Bitcoin at 80 or 100 by the end of the year. Wait, except in Patreon Platinum. Hello. Right? When does it pay to get the research? Before the move or after the move? Well, before the move, but how about you get it during the move? Let's not wait till it gets to 100 to get ourselves. The links are down below. Down below. Bitcoin Tactical. All day, every day. So this is something that the Alpha Intelligence guy showed me. It's the mini Bitcoin futures contract at the CME. So getting volume, rather than perp volume, getting actual volume from legacy futures contracts for crypto is helpful. So supports at 71. I think that would just hit that. Mini Bitcoin is at 72. As Wall Street is getting off the commuter trains, is sitting down at its desk, and everyone's looking at the screen and going, oh, ruh-roh, we're not long this. This is a key point. So obviously the crypto shorts are getting blown out, but we don't care about that. What we care about is, are they long this? Are they invested? And of course, the answer is absolutely not. They've been chasing hyperscaler stocks. They've been buying the dip in semiconductors. And oh, look, there's no resistance until 74. None. And this resistance is thin. And what are they just doing? Well, they're just unwinding this whole May give up trade. This is literally, the bigger the base, the higher in the space, right? Down, base, whoop. Let's see. The higher into space. Like now, of course, you can say that now. That was real easy now. And and I didn't talk about it much, but it was very hard to tell whether or not this was a repeat of 2018. Like, I'm not going to lie. I mean, we published and talked bullish Bitcoin, but this could have been a repeat of 2018. 2018 was a range between September and November where Bitcoin was stuck at 6K. It cracked and lost half of its value. Just vaporized. Everybody got caught in it. Everybody thought it was a buy, and then it disappeared. And ever since then, Bitcoin sitting still gave me the creeps. But again, the difference this time was the problem isn't with Bitcoin miners, it's with hyperscalers and liquidity. So you had to actually think about the market and had to do research and have an analyst, which is what we do. So Market Update Nation, Spartans, thank you for sticking with us. We appreciate your business. XRP. So the great news about XRP is that, 122 is resistance, not there yet. Note all the buying that occurs down here at 106 and even more at $1. Note the Alpha Intelligence buy signal at the bottom, which worked because it happened to be at a huge volume zone in XRP. Right. In other words, these signals were good warnings, but the big one occurred, this comes down to triangle in a box. There's more to that. But if you get a triangle in a volume zone, it's like getting a DeMark signal on support or a Lux Algo signal on the discount zone. It's just that this is mathematically driven. It's hidden. It's not fully known yet. Like I'm either the second or the third affiliate on this thing. And then XRP, big buyers at $1, Okay, more buyers at 106. Everyone knows the orange man is going to say whatever he's going to say at the summit. Garlinghouse is on the phone. They're probably front running their own phone call. Boom. See it. Gone. I don't know what's on the XRP daily charts. Let's just look. By the way, PowerPoint's coming up, or some of the PowerPoint, because Patreon got the full Monty this morning. Yeah, we talked about this yesterday, right? Yeah, yesterday. Wait. Okay, XRP on the daily chart. They didn't have just stuff on the 1 hour chart. You know, they had 3 of these things in a row. 3 alpha intelligence buy signals in a row. And that's why all the volume came in. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like, again, our initial read on this chart was that it was broken and everyone gave up. Look at this dollar. 1 hour chart. Signal, volume, selling, crack. This is DXY. I don't know. They basically told you they want the dollar lower. That's the big lesson. And this could be the real reason why Bitcoin goes crazy banana pants, especially if it goes above 74. They told you they wanted the dollar lower 2 weeks ago, and everyone blew them off. I was like, yeah, let's fade them. Let's sell the yen. Let's sell the uptick. The intervention's never going to work. It's pathetic. Okay, bro. Okay. Again, as I said yesterday, Scott Bessent made his living breaking these sovereign structures and mistakes. Now he's on the other end. He knows exactly what the hedge funds are going to do. He knows exactly how they're going to behave. He knows exactly how to like flip a crisis on all the, big short dreamers. It's not the big short. It's the big long. The only way to vent the pressure in the system. Yes, the dollar can go down, but realistically, the yen has major problems. So how far can it go down? They want it down, but is that the big trade? They want long bonds to stop going down and interest rates to fall, and that might happen, but how big is the move going to be? The bond market's a zombie market, private equity, lending, hyperscaler debt, zombie markets. And you know what? Nasdaq's next. It's like, okay, maybe Nasdaq goes up. Maybe Nasdaq goes down. Maybe Nasdaq does nothing. Maybe it does nothing. We put in our note that, Bitcoin can downtick to 69. There's a couple other support levels. I don't want to give too much away. If you look at Nasdaq on a 1 hour chart, the buy signals really aren't working. But, there is some order blocks down here. And they're going to allocate money out of this. I mean, this will show you, like, here are the signals, and here's the puke right into this level that was, fairly substantial for a while. And of course, the big topping signal, which, the alpha intelligence guy got famous for pretty much, and nobody gave him any love except me, is that, this thing basically gave you the high right into a volume zone, and boom. With bearish divergence. I mean, a lot of times when you have bearish divergence like this, the actual big move is on the second move down. So there's a case for them to monkey hammer Nasdaq. And you know what? We are so happy about that. That's awesome. Hammer this thing. 69K. Oh my God. Maybe it'll be 62. Maybe it'll be Christmas. There's only one way to vent the pressure in the system. There's only one way to do it. That's Bitcoin. Now can they sell all these things? Can they got to allocate money now? Like you're a money manager and you're coming into work and you're like, okay, well, what are we going to do now? We weren't in on it. We missed it. This is the key thing. This is what the Patreon thing was titled. If you missed it, everybody missed it because that's how Bitcoin goes up 10% in 2 days. Everybody missed it. So now what are you going to do? Well, it's easy. You're going to sell hyperscalers, you're going to sell chips, and you're going to start moving money over to Bitcoin, Bitcoin miners, Galaxy, anything you can get your hands on. Anything you can get your hands on. That's moving up and to the right, at least on a tactical chart. Period. Let's go to tactical silver. Because, this matters too. I mean, you can't make a cruise missile without 400 ounces of silver. So it looks like there was a pause sell signal in silver at a tactical level. But this is kind of like Bitcoin, right? I mean, it's trading at 66. The real resistance in the futures contract is really not at 70. So they're selling probably because Nasdaq is down or whatever, or people are just taking profits. Or like I said earlier, shorts are getting blown out. So after they blow out the shorts, what happens? It comes off. It comes off to, we put the levels in Patreon. Let's put it that way. Because this to me feels like, it just feels like calculated BTFD. It is. And the beautiful thing about it is that, you may actually get the dips. And this is another chart. Oh my God. I still cannot believe how they blew this off. Now, Stellar is at a high volume zone. So, I don't know if on a day like today, we can expect Stellar to go ripping through this 18 cents area. So let's not be, stupid, but how in God's name did anybody get negative this? I mean, everyone knew about this announcement where, the clearinghouse that basically clears all securities was going to start building on Stellar. So there's this huge pump in Stellar, and then bag holders spent the next 2 months selling it. They dumped it. And they dumped it right into the high volume zone where, of course, smart money knew that, this was going to be announced. And then the thing just rockets higher. And I don't really know, where is the volume in this that's going to stop it? Is it 18 cents? Well, maybe at a tactical level, but it feels like everything is pulling up short of resistance. And that brings up, probably a 45-second technical analysis lesson. If there's resistance and they pull up short, they're afraid of the resistance. And what happens the moment that they're not afraid of it? It's not resistance anymore. It just explodes. What you have to be careful of is if there's resistance, they overshoot it and then they bring it back down and it's like a failed rally, a baby failed rally. That's what you have to be careful of. But if you go back to this Bitcoin mini contract, right? And you say to yourself, oh, okay, well, resistance was at 74 and, NASDAQ went down. So everybody went running scared. And this way, when at the exact moment that NASDAQ stops going down or whatever, or NASDAQ closes, any way you want to cut it, this thing is just going to smoke right through the resistance point, period. What else do you need to know? I mean, it's above. This purple line is this is the Bitcoin mini futures contract. I got to keep labeling these things. These things are more affordable for retail to participate in versus these big futures contracts that require larger margin. What reason was there to stop in front of 74? None. So this way, when it goes to 74, they're going to go through it, or they're at least going to do a probe through it. Then the great news is, again, with Nasdaq going lower and S&P going lower because of this whole Walmart thing. Walmart, ruh-roh. I mean, if Walmart's got problems, you have to start asking yourself, who else has got problems? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a roach thing. I mean, how can you have $4 gasoline, which, by the way, is going to affect fuel prices massively? Fuel prices massively. I mean, how can diesel be at $10 in Europe and this not have an impact? This is a fact, right? I mean, anybody who's in Europe, tell me I'm wrong, that diesel is 2 euros a liter. That's $10 diesel in Europe. How is this not having an impact on growth? You know, I mean, they would have to push money into it. And I said this a long time ago, and of course it was ridiculous, right? Because everybody was like, it's inflation, it's tightening, and you know, there's an argument behind that. I understand that. There's also a growth problem. You know what I'm saying? This stunts growth. Hyperscaler's got to get more money. Okay, that pause stunts growth. This oil thing stunts growth. And God forbid it gets worse, because I don't know how long they can keep oil down or gasoline down in the United States, given what's going on. Like this, it's going to go, watch. The media is going to go, after Walmart, the media is going to go, is this an inflation story or a growth story? Trust me, it'll take them 48 hours, 36 hours to figure this out on Market Watch or CNBC or whatever fruitcake TV show, pundit, talking head, ninny fest that they have going on. Zero Hedge is going to figure it out. Zero Hedge got it now. Wall Street Journal may have it a week after Zero Hedge, just like the Hyperscaler story. Okay, people were asking about Near. I think I missed Zcash. I can't believe I missed Zcash. Okay, so Near busted through a lot of volume from the past in this pink. There we go. Now it's kind of trapped in this range. You know, you had dip buyers and people who helped explode it on the way out, and you have bag holders selling. You know what? Excellent. Nothing better for a move like this than bag holders getting out. Nothing better. Because it's like they're feeding the bull. Now, Near has got work to do. You know, Near probably has to be above like $1.90 to start any type of smooth sailing. But look at all this volume down here. Like this is going down. Like what is going to happen when Near exits this volume zone? Right? All the shorts down here, all the longs who liquidated. This is like everybody out. Everybody out with your coins in secure hands. Thank you for paying attention to this matter. Zcash. Thin little volume area at 580. You know, and if Bitcoin actually retraces, which you would actually want if you missed it, Zcash, there's nobody home here. And thank God. I mean, we had, I want to say on August 8th, we had 488 as a level. We were like, Zcash cannot go below 488. And of course, what happened? Tell me what happened. Zcash went to 464. Scared everybody, came back, range traded, continued to scare everybody because it really wasn't always above 488. means you sit there and look at it like, oh my God, there's nobody home below 488 on whatever daily chart structure we were looking at. Now, tactically, again, there was a lot of volume up here at 580. Now, all these characters, you got to start asking yourself, like, I think Arthur Hayes jumped on the hyperscaler debt thing, but I don't know if he thought that was an immediate problem, that they were going to, nobody thought there was going to be a Bessent style QE event. I thought it was going to be a Fed statement. The Fed was going to come out and say, we're a little bit concerned about what's going on in the bond market. And they were going to get everybody off this tightening hootenanny. This is like, this is like the Fed will fight inflation, knock it off on Nasdaq. We're going to buy all of our bonds back. There isn't going to be any doom loop. And we actually want Bitcoin to go to the moon. Like, Bitcoin used to be an embarrassment for Uncle Sugar. Now it isn't. Now they need a distraction, and Bitcoin will be a problem for Uncle Sugar, I don't know, when it gets to 250K. But in the meantime, I just, like I said, there's a trend line break. We covered all this. What is going to stop any of this? You'll get a dip. You'll get dips as you have volatility in Nasdaq, which will probably be why the Bitcoin run up will be volatile. We said that yesterday, sort of incorporated some of that into our Patreon report. Again, all the slides, the report. I actually did the report this morning without having to share the slides. And guess what? I'm not sharing them because it's for the people in Patreon. It's for the people who stuck around. And I appreciate those people very much. And I appreciate everybody who, stayed in Patreon, even if they weren't in the paid services. But I would suggest, based on what's going on, that you got to have a TA roadmap. You got to have altcoin picks, which Toby is just going to be like, Toby is so determined on her view of the world. Like I said, we had Lego videos to drive the point home. They're like, you know what? Everyone's bearish. Let's make a Lego video with a giant green candle smashing Wall Street. People probably looked at us like, look at that. Look at the crypto senior citizens making Lego videos. How frustrated are they? Well, I'm pretty frustrated. Toby didn't care. I thought it was going to be at 6. I just couldn't stand it. Hey, Alexa, where's Bitcoin? It's like it was broken. Bitcoin is at $64,000, up 0.2% from yesterday. Just the pain alone. And this is something that is not being taken into account. The pain of the range, the whole bigger the base, the higher in the space. Yeah, that's catchy. Yeah, that's funny. But really, that range was so painful. Again, we were forced in the YouTube member area to counter the idea because we just didn't believe it, even though, frankly, it was extremely kind of, it required a lot of courage. 6 days ago, crypto was dead. YouTube member area. Why? I'm pivoting my entire crypto strategy. VIP Live 2 weeks ago. Oh, look, it's Scott Bessent. The dollar breaks, AI stalls, alts wake up, full positioning. And here's the good news, folks. That's early. Early? It's not even early. It's not the first inning. It's not the national anthem. People are still filing into the stadium. It's batting practice. It's like the groundskeepers are out, just like taking care of the field. Nothing has happened yet. No one's filed into the stadium. No, everyone's gonna be like, well, it's the first inning of the bull cycle. No, it's not. It's a bull cycle. No one's bullish. Yeah, no one is even thinking about this. Oh, and by the way, you know what? I may cheat a little. We got some Gann harmonics because, oh, by the way, there was a solar eclipse on the 12th. There's a lunar eclipse on the 28th. And, eclipse doesn't necessarily mean bottom, but we discussed the eclipse as a volatility window. Now, I was a little worried it's oil, and it still could be. But our view of the eclipse is, drum roll, the eclipse could equal acceleration. And there's some Gann mathematics around the number 7 that blew my mind. Just in case anyone's wondering, like, if you're asking yourself, is this the bottom? Bro, I mean, it's not a coincidence that 7 days after the solar eclipse, the market went up, with Gann as 7 being a big number, and we expand out on this whole 7 thing. It's unbelievable. This is happening. This is real. And this could get volatile. Okay, someone's asking for Railgun 1 hour. Ooh. You know what? Let's do Railgun 1 hour. This is, I got to be honest with you. This is so fun, right? Because now it's like, ooh, what's the machine say? Oh, why am I not getting this? What the fuck? All right, rail. Okay, we got to find rail. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it on Kraken. Oh no, that's Rails. Oh, God, so annoying. Railgun, where is it? Rail. This privacy trade has not been done yet. This whole concept of transactional freedom has not been done yet. But by the way, that was a big campaign issue, if you remember any of it, right? Bobby came out and said transactional freedom, meaning, you can transact via your MetaMask. You should be able to do what you want on transactions. Dude, look at this. So, okay, this is a prior volume area. That's what the pink means. Again, I just learned this. I know guys were asking for training videos. This is hot off the press. I had a meeting with this guy the other day where he showed me how to get this so it was clear on the screen for sharing. I mean, dude, you start pressing through 187, there's nobody home until 211. Nobody. And this makes me want to look at Monero because, the thing about these big privacy coins is like, what's, there's got to be an incentive to hodl it, and I think the thing about Monero is I don't know that. I mean, I guess you use Monero to do transactions. I guess machines might use it to do transactions. Just kind of wondering whether or not Monero is one of these coins where people just take wealth and stick it in there and leave it because of this whole wealth confiscation thing, which, oh, by the way, the sovereigns are going to bail out the hyperscalers, and then the far left is going to bail themselves out. They're just going to take people's money. The tax base is leaving these areas, so that's only going to leave a bail in. So today's story is a hyperscaler bailout. Actually, it's not even today's story because they haven't written it yet. Tomorrow's story is going to be our money is our money and your money is our money. Thank you for shopping. Okay, 1 hour buy signals in Monero on volume blocks. I don't know, bro. What do you need to understand about this? Especially if it's down on a day where everything else is up. I mean, if they hit the privacy coins, take it from them, right? I mean, most likely they're in this idea that Toby has about rolling sector rotations. In other words, this may not turn in to a full out altcoin season, right? This may turn into these like a rolling rotation trade. I mean, do you have any idea what's going to happen in ETH if they take out? These are prior volume zones at 2,300 on this 1 hour chart. we have to like squish the chart down. I don't even think I can get the chart squished down to find what the next level are. Okay, here come the next levels. I mean, what is it even on the chart? Is it even there? There's nothing here, right? If ETH gets above, look at this. Look at this down here. Who was that? Oh, probably the biggest players in the whole world. I don't know. What do you think? There's nobody home in Ethereum above 2,300, and no one's going to want to pay it. Oh, it's expensive. You realize ETH was here before FTX, right? You do realize the absurdity of 2,300 ETH. See, in my mind, I don't have to go through this, but honestly, on streams, you have to go, you have to talk about these things. People have become so numb to this idea that this ETH is totally dead. I mean, ETH was at 2,300 after like when FTX was in progress in May of 2022. So FTX, Celsius, this stuff was in motion, and the move was like, I don't know, 2/3 of the way over, and ETH was at 2,300. And ETH is the number one cryptocurrency that can survive a high velocity era, which is something that you will be hearing about from everybody left, right, up, down, and center, because once Bitcoin goes to 83, they're going to be forced to move into altcoins, and this idea of altcoins that have to be held, because there's not that many of them. There's not that many. It's not a rocket science. I mean, the list is in YouTube member area. It's not rocket science. Chainlink is one of them. It isn't. It's just that, once everybody goes, oh, yeah, well, the agentic economy and altcoins, bro, we have been on this all over this. While everybody was talking about 4-year cycle in October, we were talking about how to get on the agentic economy in crypto, which is not even being discussed. It's not even a discussion point. Everyone's like, whoa, look at this Bitcoin rally. Is this for real? Bro, whoa. There is a way to get, everyone's like, oh, we're never early. Oh, we missed it. Dude, you have missed nothing. Nothing. Nobody is on this. Nobody. I don't even think the big crypto research houses are on this. Galaxy, who spent the last month and a half publishing like on-chain data, going wah, 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 trying to pass the time with the 4-year cycle. Then they came out with this big digital picture of Novogratz. And they were talking about, I liked what they said. They call it the code economy. I was like, ooh, the code economy. Okay, so what do you need to do? You need to get in Patreon and get the latest TA report, PowerPoint, and Word doc. You need to join the YouTube member area and watch the last video and the next video. And to state the obvious, the Alpha Intelligence link is down below. And yeah, it's handy. It's handy and it's borderline necessary, because why are we missing everything coming off support and discount zones and dead zones? Why would we miss any of that? Why would we not want to see this volume so that we would have confidence that when it moves up and if it corrects, we can get involved? Because the volume down at the lows was huge. Let's say hello to all the nice people who are here. Zapatas, Spartans Forever, MJ Hits, the Jeski, PWB, Yav. Welcome, sir. Lego Bill. Is that Lego? Did we figure out Lego Bill? I don't know. That looks like Lego Bill. I don't know how that got there, but it did. Okay, Brandon is here. Odd Dark, Fuzz Crypto, Smash Satoshi, Binary. What's up? Shelly Farmer Allen, that one-woman hedge fund. The altcoin depression is over for working protocols that produce revenue. Wow, that's the one-sentence market update. We'll see you tomorrow. Noah is here. Country Club Hillbilly. $7,000 move in Bitcoin is nothing to seize at. Near, we covered. Cardano, a hated rally. You never know. All these things that were dead are not dead. Housing destruction is in effect. Texas and Florida are leading it. Real world assets will pump when the velocity of money changes. Dude. Orange Man coin up 18%. Aave, next move to 105. Dude, Aave, what's Aave? A collateral-based lending protocol. They hold crypto. They don't sling it around. They hold it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Somebody's like, go waste and fraud. Waste and fraud has a price. It's called the price of Bitcoin. The only way to vent this pressure is to have Bitcoin go up and then to have a shocking Ethereum rally follows. Because that, again, has not been talked about. ETH up 8% yesterday. Meh. XRP up 8% today. Okay, yeah, that's going to get YouTube's attention. But the rest of the world may not be paying attention. If the most dead chart is awake, that is all you need to know. That is the market update for today. Hey, Alpha Intelligence, Patreon, YouTube, let's go. Dig deep. Now is the time. We'll see you soon.